Well, I hope you're doing well. As you get this, whether it's daytime, whether it's evening, whether it's the middle of the night as you watch this, I just want to come into your world and say thank you so much as a prayer team, as a response team, for the ways in which you have been so supportive of this ministry, what we do week in and week out in our response room as far as meeting the needs of those that come back there. Now, as I hope most of you know at this point, there are changes coming. I hope this isn't a surprise when you hear that, but the weekend of November 3rd and 4th, we will be transitioning from what is currently the response room in the back to the connection centers, both in Welcome Center A, Welcome Center B. From here on out, those welcome centers will be referred to as connection centers. So when you hear me use that verbiage, that's what I'm referring to is the connection centers, the old welcome centers. But we're going to be moving into that area, and I'm excited about that because I think it's going to give us an opportunity to engage with people in a way in which we've not been able to do before. We're going to be able to see people that never would have taken the step to come back to the response room previously. So I am excited about that. It's been 11 years that I've personally served in the response room since coming on staff here at First Baptist. So to me, this is a new day. It's a new page. Now, in the past, we have, I think, done extraordinarily well Saturday evenings and Sundays with just being able to trust that whoever showed up in that response room in the way of volunteers has been able to meet the needs of those that came. Sure, there was weekends where we were short a person or two or three, but somehow we always battled through that. We found people. I do think as we move forward, I'm going to have to ask for a greater level of commitment, and that's why I come to you today. First of all, to say thank you for what you've done in the past, because none of this would ever succeed in God's eyes or in the eyes of the church. None of this would have ever been possible without your weekly service. At the same time, I think to whom much is given, much is expected. And I believe there are a lot of people that really look to the response room and for the ministry that you have for other people week in and week out that expect a lot. So, beginning November 3rd and 4th, I really feel like we're going to have to move towards a little bit stronger level of commitment in just asking you to begin to think through which connection center are you most likely to want to serve at on an ongoing basis. Do you sit closer to the A side? Do you sit closer to the B side? So begin to think through that, because I'm going to ask for a commitment that A will be the side you'll be responsible for and which services. In the same way, I'm going to ask that you begin to think through what services can you be responsible for on a weekly basis. As I said, I know in the past we've been able to just kind of, if you can show up after this service or that service, we're going to make it work. But I believe now we need to have a schedule, and I want to try that at least through the months of November and December as a litmus test to just see how that works, if that's the direction we need to go ongoing. We think we know through guest connections that about 70% of the foot traffic here at the church goes through Welcome Center B. So therefore, I feel like the schedule needs to be a little bit tilted and heavier towards having bodies on the B side versus the A side. As you know, typically response is heavier after the last service than maybe the first service. So we need to think in terms of more bodies available after the last service. So those are things just in the next week or so I want you praying about, thinking about, as far as your level of commitment going forward. Will you commit with me to either be on the A side of property or the B side of property? And will you commit to be at one of the services, hopefully more, on a weekly basis? Obviously, life comes up. Life happens. There are going to be weekends where you may have committed to the 10 o'clock service and say that you're going to be there and you have a child that's sick or something comes along, the car breaks down. We'll cross those bridges when we come to it, and we'll have a means by which you can let us know. But as I look forward to these changes, that's the one thing that sticks out most to me is just the necessity for moving to some type of scheduling to make this work. So again, thank you as always, and I don't say it enough. I probably don't do enough things to show appreciation to each one of you, but deep in my heart, I know that none of this ever happens without you. And as we move forward, beginning November 3rd and 4th, I'm going to ask you for a little bit stronger level of commitment to just where will you serve and when will you serve. And we're going to make this just an outstanding opportunity to meet the needs of those that we never would have had a chance to see previously. Okay? Thank you. I'll be in touch.